Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Twitch updated complete guide, of course, for our latest patch. But of course, also as usual, before we get into it, don't forget to check out Twitch's basic guide for his skills, leveling order tips and tricks, as well as some combos. I'm going to chuck it up in the cards above right now, so you guys can refer to that if you want to. So let's kind of get straight into it. So basically, I think that currently the best build for Twitch is a hybrid between going for on-hit items like Bork and Runans, as well as going for a couple of crit items. So if you take a look at the top couple of players, you will see that the number one guy is basically going for a crit build with Runans, and the other two players are going for basically a variation of my build. Sometimes the order are a little bit different, but I think this is the best way to go. So let's kind of get straight into it. So first off, you want to start off with the Gluttonous Grease, so the early game attack speed to stack up your passive more easily, and of course you can prop your E afterwards. Then you're going to start off with the Collector as a first item. Now the reason why you're going for this is basically the highest damage first item you could get, unless you go for something like a Dust Blade or something like that, which of course you don't really want because you're not really building lethality. So Collector, aside from giving you both Armor Pen and crit as well, gives you a good amount of AD and also gives you that passive, which on Twitch, in very specific circumstances, can be helpful if your poison ticks them below the health threshold and is going to be able to prop the Collector passive for you to net you extra kills. Now, pretty much your second item on Twitch, regardless of build, is always going to be Runan's Hurricane. Runan's, of course, allows you to attack 3 people simultaneously, which then allows you to stack your passive on the 3 people as well. And of course, when you pop your E, it's going to do damage to all of them and spread it all around, things like that, right? So then you want to go for Bulk. And the reason why you want to go for Bulk is if you go for a full crit build, you're going to have trouble dealing with tanks. So with Bulk, it gives you a couple benefits. Firstly, of course, you get a lot of attack speed and a bit of AD. You get the on-hit current health damage to help you melt through the tanks. And then you also get the Drain passive, which is useful for just doing damage as well as getting movement speed to reposition. And you also get physical vamp. So all around just very helpful. Right at this point, you obviously need armor penetration, so you have more reminder for armor pen and grievous wounds. And at this point, you're only at 50% crit. So the best last crit item to go for is going to be Bloodthirster. Bloodthirster, of course, gives you that extra defensive capability with the physical vamp and also with the shield. And you also get a good amount of AD, right? I think IE is also possible here, but since you're at 75% crit, I think Bloodthirster is just generally better. And then for the runes, it's the standard ADC Loadout, and for the spells, you want to go for Flash together with Ghost. Now, in rare instances, you can go for other things, like if there's a lot of CC, you can go for Cleanse. I don't personally recommend Barrier or Exhaust, because I think Ghost is just superior, just to allow you to reposition and such. But with all that covered, now let's take a look at the gameplay. Alright, so let's move on into the gameplay as usual. Also, as usual, of course, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. You guys know I'll be sure to address them or drop a like. So, as you guys saw from my tier list, I think it is a couple days ago by now, I don't think Twitch is very strong at the moment. I think Twitch is actually pretty much, if you don't count like specific counter pick champions like Neela, I think he's like probably the second worst ADC. I think only Kalista is really worse than him. Now we're against Jin, who's very strong early game, as well as a Janna, who does have a good amount of poke. However, Janna is taking a lot of damage from minions and from myself and Yuumi as well. So you can see we're playing very aggressively onto the Janna, and then we're doing damage to Jin as well, and then we pop the E at the very last minute. Now, something that most people underestimate is how strong Twitch's level 1 is. Now, Twitch, honestly, he does a good amount of damage at level 1, and you can actually get kills level 1. We didn't actually get any kill level 1 here, but you can see that both of them have like a quarter health or below, and we are still pretty healthy, of course, courtesy of the Yuumi healing. But that's the whole idea, right? We're playing the Tom and Jerry combo with the Twitch and Yuumi. So if we take a very aggressive level 1 trade, Yuumi can just heal us back up with the E. Of course, Yuumi is going to get reworked. Or actually, at this point, I think like her rework is going to be like when this video releases, it's pretty much going to be like tomorrow, I think, is going to be Yumi's rework. So it's not going to work the same way with Yuumi anymore. But of course, in this video, Yumi's E still, of course, heals instead of shields. But yeah, so with Twitch and Yuumi, I think it is probably one of Twitch's best combos. I'm gonna talk about Twitch combos in a little bit, but yeah, to my point is, he's very strong level 1. I have gotten kills level 1 very often, mostly because people don't play against Twitch. They don't really know his damage very well, and it ends up being the case where they underestimate his damage and he kills them level 1. Right? He stacks up lethal tempo, he gets them really low, and he still has that E in reserve just to pop it when they, get out of auto attack range, and then you can just burst them down and, get kills like that. So let's talk about the Twitch combos, right? As we're going kind of all in here, Jin goes pretty low. We're unfortunately tanking minions, so we're gonna have to retreat a little bit. We're taking a little bit too much damage. Gragas is here though, and they're both 1 HP. This is like a free kill for Gragas. He just needs to ult them or something like that, and he should be able to get a kill. He tries to go in, goes in on Janna, gets the kill on Janna. Jin goes and flash away in panic. Janna, of course, pops the heal, and everything basically. So all their summon spells are down. I still have both my flash and my ghost, and now we're just whacking the tower for tower platings. So let's talk about Twitch combos. Right? Obviously, Twitch does the best with enchanters, and obviously the best enchanters you can pair him with are of course going to be Lulu, Yuumi, Milio, as well as Soraka. So all of them have their pros and cons for different reasons. Now, Soraka can get you through the laning phase with her healing, and in later fights as well, just is a health pack, a walking fountain, right? So helps you get through the laning phase. Now, a different champion like, for example, Milio or Lulu has a tougher time getting you through the laning phase, but it kind of pays off in the mid to late game where Milio gives you the extra range, and Lulu, of course, gives you the extra safety. And I say Lulu has a hard time getting you through lane because Lulu cannot really heal you, right? At least Milio gives you a little bit of healing, but Lulu doesn't heal you pretty much at all. Only can give you shields and ult you, right? So Lulu is probably the best late game investment, but you are gonna suffer in the early game unless Lulu plays very aggressively and helps you kind of not get bullied in the lane. Milio, of course, can deny engages with his Q, and also of course can heal you up with his W as well as giving you the bonus range. Yuumi is kind of like the in-between all of them, right? So Yuumi gives you the healing in lane to kind of get through the lane. Also, it scales very, very well. As we're trying to finish off the Jin here, just getting all the way there. We get the kill onto Jin, but Lissandra and Shyvana are both here, so there's no way we're going to survive here. We end up going down. Yuumi hops onto the Gragas. Gragas doesn't survive. Yuumi, of course, now has no one to hop onto and is going to, unfortunately, go down. So, yeah, these are basically Twitch's best combos. You can play him with tanks and such, but I personally don't think it's that great, especially a champion like Twitch who kind of sucks in the meta at the moment. I think you really only want to play him in optimal conditions, like, with enchanters is kind of what I mean by optimal conditions. I think Twitch, it doesn't care too much about the enemy team comp. I mean, of course, you don't really want to play against assassins and such, but in general, you can't really not play against any big threats, right? Like even if you don't have assassins, you still have threats like the Shyvana here or like the Lissandra who can get in on you and CC you or just run you down, things like that. So it's kind of impossible to play against a zero threat team comp. So the best case scenario is you have Enchanter to protect you or to just help you out in general. Yuumi unfortunately going a little bit sideways. And here Jin trying to use ulti to clear the wave, but Yuumi just gonna block his attempt to do so. And yeah, we're basically a-okay. We just took a death, of course, but we also have a kill and an assist, so we're doing pretty well. We're actually up on goal against Jin, who is, of course, one of the strongest champions in the meta right now, and is very strong in the early game. So here we're trying to see if we can sneak in and do damage to Aatrox. Exhaust comes in onto Aatrox. Aatrox, we pop the ulti and try to burst him down. Pop the E as well. Unfortunately, he does not die. And Ahri, unfortunately, somehow dashes into melee range and eats an Aatrox auto, which allows Aatrox to heal off of the passive. Very poorly played by the Ahri there. I have no idea why she did that, but she ends up feeding Aatrox a kill instead right now. Twitch is really good at this kind of roam plays. Especially if you have a Yuumi, because when you invis, Yuumi invis as well, so you can basically two-man gank the mid lane and come out of nowhere, something like that, right? And that's gonna come in very, very handy. So here I've picked up the Collector. Of course, it's a pretty decent early game power spike. You get it right as the Dragon and the Herald spawn. I'm not sure which one Gragas is going for. Looks like it's gonna be Dragon. So as my Ahri and my Gragas are making their way there, I'm gonna quickly just go and clear up these minions here. Shyvana is actually on the Herald, so TP is coming over to contest, and the roam is coming over as well. So we're gonna quickly push out the wave and make our way there. Now our team actually secures the objective, and they're all just escaping because they both have mobility, so they both easily get out. I'm in stealth, so I'm pretty safe because they can't really see me. And yeah, so here now they do have priority on the mid lane tower though, so we're trying to rotate over to the mid lane tower to try to save it. right here, but unfortunately that's not going to be the case. They are going to be able to take the mid lane tower in exchange for the dragon, which is a tad unfortunate. But yeah, so Twitch is not that strong in the early game. Of course, with every item, he kind of gets stronger and stronger. I would say 3 items is when he really comes online. He's one of those 3 item ADCs like Jinx or Zeri. Speaking of which, I will be making a Jinx video very, very soon as well. Jinx guide really soon, but I kind of want to cover Twitch for a little bit at the moment because I have been playing a little bit of Twitch. I have been enjoying Twitch, although he really is not the strongest champion. But yeah, you know, either way, he is still. I still think he's pretty fun to play with his invisibility. But of course, you are gonna suffer quite a lot playing Twitch, especially in your early games. In this game, honestly, our early game was completely fine because Janna didn't really do that much. Jhin, who's supposed to be strong in the early game, didn't really do that much either. So we had a pretty good time. So here, fight is breaking out in the top lane. We're coming in through stealth to see if we can influence that fight. Now here we basically managed to zone Shyvana off of the fight, and here we're trying to go onto the Aatrox. We get the kill onto Aatrox. And honestly, I'm not sure if this is just a placebo or it actually is the case, but I found that ever since I started building collector first item on Twitch, I've been securing kills a lot easier. Now the collector threshold is really only like 5% health or so, like, and it has the scale as well, right? So I'm not really sure if collector is actually helping me secure kills. I just think it is because of the fact that I built it, but I actually found it's easier to secure kills ever since I started building collector. Either way, even if you don't account for the passive, the armor pen, crit, and AD from collector still makes it a really good first item, which is kind of why I am going for it first item. Anyway, I rarely build collector for the passive, maybe except on MF or Samira where the passive is actually very handy. Now Twitch, no sorry, not Twitch, Jhin is ulting to clear the wave again. I find it very, very strange because you don't normally see Jhin just straight up ulting to clear a wave unless, you know, you can use it to save an inhib or, you know, something of the sort, right? You don't normally see a Jhin just randomly pop out to clear a wave. It does just really weird. So anyways, Aatrox kind of gets caught out 1v3 again. Now he is doing relatively well, but he is not respecting the fact that my team could be there to stop him at all. So here we know Lissandra is alone because we've seen 3 people in the mid lane and we know Aatrox is dead, so we're pretty safe here to just farm. Only thing is she could be hiding in that bush and waiting to, yeah, there she is, hiding in that bush waiting to trap me, which is why I did not walk anywhere close to that bush. Now I did just flash away, not even sure if I needed to flash, but you know, let's just be safe than sorry. I get ulted by Lissandra, I'm gonna get chain CC'd and just killed. Speaking of which, Lissandra out goes onto the Gragas. Like here I'm just popping the ult. So, I didn't know this could happen, but apparently you can miss Twitch ult. Like I've been playing Twitch for at this point years now, and like I always thought that like you can't miss auto attacks, but apparently for some reason you can actually miss Twitch ult. Like that doesn't even make sense. Like if you take a look back there, like the autos went through, but it didn't actually hit the Janna, which is really, really weird. But anyways, we're now gonna get another reset and pick up our Runaan's Hurricane from nothing just to an entire Runaan's Hurricane. Of course, it's a huge spike for Twitch being able to apply poison onto multiple people. So we've had a pretty quiet early game. We're 2-1-1, pretty decent KDA, and in terms of gold, we're doing pretty decent. We're not as high as, you know, champions like the Shyvana, who's incredibly fed. But here you can see we're trying to change that by securing this kill onto the Janna. Of course, now we're actually getting pretty fed. Like we're actually at 8k gold, doing pretty well. And as Twitch, you never need to really be the most goal in the game in the early to mid game. You kind of just want to get to your item spikes and just get consistent farm. If you can somehow become really fed, that's of course amazing. You get to your item spikes faster. But of course, in the late game is kind of where you really come online and you really can just start blasting people into next week. And that's of course what we're looking for. And here you can see the Bork is going to come in handy against Aatrox and Shyvana, right? As well as even Janna, who's kind of building health as well, right? So here we're seeing if we want to blast plant in together with our team. Our Gragas somehow just does the red buff and Set just goes to the wave. This is very awkward. Like we could have gotten position on Dragon, but my whole team decides to just do other things. And by the time they're coming, the Dragon's probably going to be gone. There goes the Dragon. Like we're all just spectator Dragon here. I get ulted by Lissandra. Shyvana goes right on top of me. Gragas, very nice ult to peel the Shyvana off me. I'm not sure if that was intentional, but now we're just gonna go ahead and continue on the fight. We're pretty low, so we want to go grab this fruit, and then we can keep on going because we still have Yuumi to heal us. Lifestealing off of the wave here. Gragas going in onto the Aatrox. Now Aatrox gets healing from like 3 people. Really hard to kill, so I'm deciding let's focus Janna instead. Right? Janna is more killable, so we get the kill onto Janna. And Aatrox is able to escape, or so it seems. and we secure the tower. So next item, of course, we're looking for is Bork. We're really close to Bork, so I'm actually pinging this at the moment. I need Gragas to just give me the farm so that I can complete my Bork, and I need like maybe 1 or 2 minions, but Aatrox is here. Now, I don't think Aatrox is gonna just ult and run me down, but that is always a possibility. And since I don't have anti-heal, I think even with a Yuumi, I don't think I win against Aatrox 2v1. So I don't really want to encounter him, but now that we secured the wave, we are backing in stealth, which is one of the tips and tricks I covered in the basic guide, just in case Aatrox decides to just pop out and sees us and then runs us down. But that doesn't happen. We complete the Bork, and now we're on 3 items. Now, actually 6, 1, and 1. That last fight gave me quite a few kills. And now we're kind of ready to rock and roll. We actually have the most gold in the game at the moment, but just by a very slim margin. And pings are coming out to do Baron. Aatrox is on the other side of the map, and Aatrox and Shyvana are the 2 biggest problems on the team at the moment. They can see it us doing it because they have this ward in here. Now Lissandra goes in, CCs us all, pops the CCs, buys a lot of time to be very honest. And thankfully Gragas does get the secure. Now unfortunately we're currently getting run down now. Yuumi is not on me, so I'm just going to have to kite out the Shyvana by myself and kill her. Now thankfully I do survive there, but Yuumi, I don't know who she was on, but whoever it was ends up dying, which causes her to die as well. And I'm going to now just reset after getting the Baron. I'm getting a QSS here, mostly because we can QSS like a Jin W or like a Lissandra ult most importantly. And yeah, so now only me and Set are left alive. Not the most useful Baron in the world in that respect, but Set picks up a Hullbreaker. Jin, I can easily kill Jin if he overextends. So I'm trying to see if I can sneak up on him. He actually just bats all the way away. So I don't know if he saw me do like a ward in deep ward in my jungle, or he just had a feeling that I was somewhere around. Because obviously with Twitch you want to make the stealth plays. Whole point of playing Twitch, right? Is the only thing that Twitch offers that no other ADC offers is the long duration stealth, right? Now here Set is semi getting caught out. Now okay, that was a pretty weird Yuumi ult, but the name of the game with Twitch, or with any like kind of hyper carry is, you kind of need to let your frontline take damage, and then you need to deal damage whilst the frontline is taking damage. So my main frontline here is going to be Set, right? Like the rest of my champions on my team are not really very tanky. They're all basically kind of squishy. So the moment Set just starts tanking damage from people, we can just blast people from the backline, especially with ult. We have really high range. And we can take advantage of them focusing him to then focus them, right? That's kind of the name of the game. So, especially now that I have my items, I'm really kind of just not following Set, but kind of looking to, like, when Set gets caught out, I can possibly, you know, kind of turn it around and catch people out instead. For now, that's not really happening. He kind of looked like he was going to get caught out, like, both in the top river and the bottom river, like, within the last 1 minute of the game, but he didn't actually get caught out, so I guess it's good for him, but also means that at the moment I'm not really doing anything. The next dragon is coming up in 15 seconds, and everybody is basically ready to rock and roll. We have ults on everybody on the map basically, and we're ready for a huge fight now. Shyvana gets completely caught out. We actually go legendary. Sorry, not Shyvana. Lissandra gets completely caught out. We go legendary. However, we're not getting run down. We have a Yuumi with us, and we're just blasting, but unfortunately, you can see the problem here. We get focused and we end up dying. Ahri though on the back and cleans up 2 kills, going for the Shyvana, who's trying to back in the bush, gets a triple kill. Aatrox doesn't seem to want to mess with her, although I think that that Aatrox should be fine against Ahri. And we have Set just split pushing with his Hullbreaker at the moment. Ahri using the sweeper. Set is trying to recall Ahri very intelligently here, waiting for it to channel for a longer duration. Gets a very nice combo onto Aatrox to chunk him out for like half or more of his HP. He's TPing there, and Ahri gets a very nice combo again to make him 1 HP. Now Set goes in onto the Aatrox, who pops everything at this point. Lissandra is now back alive. Set, I don't think he's going to make it out, and probably should have been focusing the tower instead of the minions so he can get the inhib. But yeah, he definitely misplayed the situation a ton, right? Like, just ignore the Aatrox and just die for the inhib. Right? If you're gonna die anyway, which I think he dies there regardless, he's gonna get run down by Aatrox regardless of what happens. At least die for a good cause, right? So Lissandra tries to go on us. We, of course, have the QSS, and now Jin is trying to run away. We're not gonna allow that to happen. And now we have Shyvana and Aatrox. I was thinking this could be a possible penta, but after that 1 kill escape from me, I knew it wasn't gonna happen. and Ari took that kill, and this kill as well. But regardless, we get 4 kills, only Janna is left alive. This means it's time to just run down mid and maybe perhaps end the game if possible. Burst down this tower pretty quickly. On to the next. And I don't think Janna can stop the 4 of us from ending the game, so we're just going to start blasting the Nexus. Janna gets caught, and we get the kill with the Collector there. And there we have it. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.